G'day everyone, Lucas here from Aussie Gamers Express, and today I'm taking a look at an action-adventure survival horror game known as State of Decay 2. Before we get into the sequel, first came State of Decay back in 2013 on the Xbox 360 and Windows PC. State of Decay has come across as an indie title with a lot of promise, but it was missing one thing that everybody was asking for: online co-op. Something all survival horror games should have. Sadly, it never came for the first game, but the sequel is here and will hopefully fix that issue. State of Decay 2 begins by giving you the option of choosing set characters to start off with. The significance of who you choose here will become less relevant the more into the game you get, so don't spend too much time on this. Once you've chosen your team, you'll be plonked into a tutorial section of the game which will teach you the ins and outs of the game mechanics. Get ready for some serious sarcasm here. The voice acting is super duper amazing!
Body is an open wound. Seriously, dude, it's like my fucking blood is on fire.
Uh-oh. I've heard that symptom before.
He never gives up, does he? Okay, what do you need?
That thing in the cage looks like the one that bit me.
Hey Doc, the camp is compromised. Thanks to all the noise, the Zeds are swarming the east perimeter.
You know I can't leave Charlie.
If you stay, I gotta stay. Then we all die.
Alright, so it's not exactly Jill sandwich bad, but it's a little bit stale. But luckily, there isn't too much voice acting throughout the game to worry about. Right, now I've heard others making claims that the gameplay and controls are clunky. Well, I'll agree that it's a little different starting off, but getting used to it and how it all works won't take long at all before it becomes second nature. Besides, one of the game's hints and tips that it pops up on the screen tells you that you can remap the controls if the default ones aren't working for you. Next up, I've got to make mention of the day and night cycle. For starters, it has one, which is good. Secondly, I just wish that the torch that you're given from the start of the game was a little brighter. I'd even be satisfied if I could just upgrade it so I could see a little easier at night time. Without decent lighting, seeing through the night can be very tricky, as the day-night cycle takes the best part of a real-time hour to get through the night, and there's no skipping time mechanic that can be found. Survival is the most important aspect of the game, and that goes hand in hand with the need to spelunk for loot. Not only do you need to provide for yourself, but you will also need to build a team of followers that will join you in your base. You will need to collect supplies to ensure that you are keeping everyone content and happy. This can seem like a never-ending chore to start off with, but once you have a foundation set, you can relax a little on this. There is a base building mechanic here which some might find underwhelming. If you're expecting a base building mechanic from games the likes of Minecraft or Fallout 4, you're going to be disappointed. The bases that you can establish are essentially already built. You find buildings in the world that you can claim for your own once you meet a certain criteria based on the location, and once you've claimed a base, you have a set amount of spaces where you can build stations such as an infirmary, some beds and gardens, etc. There's a lot for the player to manage if you want to gain traction in State of Decay 2. Keeping everyone in your group happy is harder to do than tying your shoelaces with your tongue. Some people might be that talented, but I'm definitely not. All the while that you're trying to do all of this, you need to also go and speak with strangers that appear in the map and help them, because if you don't, they can turn hostile and will attack you. You just can't keep everyone happy all of the time, and I for one am happy to say that I definitely know that this is the truth, in-game and real life.
Watch where you're shooting! Got multiple. Yep, it's me. God, I'm tired.
Now for the gameplay. I have had a crazy amount of fun playing State of Decay 2. I have played for the majority of my time on my own, and it's been super fun. Finding new cars to bring me home, destroying zombies with swords, pipes, assault rifles and explosives. The variety there keeps the constant threat of the zombie apocalypse fresh. There's a certain point that I would like to make about State of Decay 2 that doesn't appear in most open world games or any style of game really. Things don't seem to despawn in a hurry in State of Decay 2. Killing a zombie on your front doorstep will see that same husk of a body remain there for a long time. It will eventually disappear, but not for hours of playtime. Further to this, if you find a car and park it somewhere, it will remain there. No respawning, no despawning, nothing. This is a very good mechanic that will allow you to set up runs depending on where you know there is a vehicle for you to switch into. Also, it really gives that feeling of home when you know that things will remain there regardless of where you go and when you play. We finally have that online co-op system we've always wanted. You can play with up to 3 of your mates at the same time, but there are some limitations where all visiting players will be tethered to the host. This means that if a visitor player wanders too far away from the host, they will be teleported back.
Oh, what?
I still haven't worked out why this is the case, and before I played it, I was annoyed by this. After playing though, I didn't really feel like it was a restriction at all. There were a couple of occasions where my friends were teleported closer to me, but that ended up being more of a helping hand than a hindrance. Oh, Juggernaut! I've never taken one down before. Let's do a Juggernaut.
The Juggernaut.
No, don't run into him! Oh, the car's gone! Also, all progression will go towards the host. All progression that the guest character makes, such as their increased stats of stamina and fighting, will go with them. But everything else stays. The game will give you constant reminders that you're helping your friend with their game. There is a double-edged sword to that one though, because State of Decay 2 has Perma Death. If your character that you've been working on for ages with high stats dies, he is dead. No respawns. It's also worth noting that if your character dies in a friend's game, they stay dead also. This is a reasonable mechanic for such a game and gives the feeling of an achievement when you manage to take down an infestation and come out alive. Now, it's not all guts and glamour. State of Decay 2 has its fair share of issues. Firstly, the most obvious is the sky zombies that like to spawn from above and drop down on you as they pretend that they're true blue Aussie drop bears. While it doesn't pose as too much of an issue to the gameplay, it does look a little ridiculous. Also, there is something that I noticed which is a little tell from the developers that they're conceding that their world isn't 100% user-friendly. There's a devoted command in the game that will rewind time for a couple of minutes should you get stuck and can't move. This hasn't happened to me, but for it to be there, I guess it does happen. This guy was stuck in a rock. Now, the worst bug that I did encounter was a loss of the HUD. I couldn't use the map, I couldn't see the mini-map, I couldn't check what my mission status was and where I needed to go and what needed to be done. Quitting the game and returning fixed that issue. State of Decay 2 isn't a massive AAA game, doesn't exhibit the best graphics you've ever seen, and has a few early on bugs that will likely see a patch later on to fix them. But there's definitely a lot of hours of gameplay to be had, and it's easy to lose yourself in the experience. I have had a great time with State of Decay 2, and there's nothing there that has made my experience less than fun. I would recommend playing State of Decay 2 for anyone that enjoyed the first game, as the sequel is more of an upgrade from the first, and those that enjoy swatting zombies and searching for loot to survive will find themselves at home here. Well, that's all I have today on State of Decay 2. For more on this game and others, make sure you click that subscribe button and give this video a like if you liked it. If not, there's a dislike button there too. Check in our weekly podcast on iTunes, Stitcher and TuneIn Radio, also on Spotify. Links are in the description down below. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, I am Lucas, and I will see ya!
Ugh, another plague heart. together, baby.